Heyo everyone, let's get bricky. Heyo everyone, I'm Lego MacGyver, and I'm back with another fun Lego build for all of you guys. I have a bunch of little contraptions here and stuff that I've made lately that I want to show you, so I'll get right to it. So this next one is something that I actually saw from an thumbnail image on YouTube of something somebody made, and I will throw that up here if I can find it. And it really got me thinking that this was something really fun I've wanted to do for a while, because I've had a this Technic motor, and this is, I believe, what is considered the medium size or the medium voltage motor for it, from like their robotics and Mindstorms and their other big like Technic vehicles. And I've had this for a while, and I've wanted to do something with it. I made a carousel a while back that was powered off of this, and that was very fun. But it's been hard to really find something fun to make with this, because it's hard to really make a car with only one of these. So it's like, what can I do? And seeing that image made me think of making something super fun. What is more fun than card launcher? Now, this may seem very primitive-ish looking, but I can assure you that this works extremely well. So I'll sort of give you a look from all sides of this thing. And yeah, it sort of looks like a gun because I made it that way, because I wanted this to be very nice and handheld. But the basic idea behind this is we have this nice little sort of loading bay for Lego cards. On the inside, we have wheels that are turned by this crank, and those go to the wheels at the front that are powered by the motor that then fling out. That was the general idea of when I was coming up with how to build this. Was the motor was obviously going to be what was going to be spinning the wheels at the end to shoot the cards out, and from there it was like, okay, I then need to get the cards to it. So it's like, okay, I figure, having some sort of mechanism of going along cards to move it is probably the easiest, instead of letting like gravity or something do it, or having to like manually sort of like push them in. I figured this way it's a lot easier, a lot more uniform, and you sort of get the same result every single time. So I'll show you what you mean by this. Some of you may be thinking, well, what do you mean by card launcher? From that image, you might be able to get, but essentially what it is something that shoot cards out basically at a good sort of velocity to where they sort of fly. So, got a deck of cards here. Your standard deck, 52. I always leave the Joker out just because I never played a card game that requires a Joker, but I also never want to lose a Joker. If you lose one of the other cards in a standard deck, it's not that hard. You can always find it again in another deck, but the Joker, I don't know. There's just something about it. So, from the bottom here, you can tell from the bottom of the card that if I start turning this crank, it moves the card up, and it can easily move down. There's a very thin little sort of groove set along this, that the cards sort of sit along the cards as well as the sides of it, that allow me to push it up and down to the point to where when I repeatedly move this, it will keep feeding the cards in, normally about one at a time. Sometimes it picks up about two, about no more than three. So I've never really had a jam with this, which is wonderful. But the idea is you turn the switch on, and then you just whoop. Seems like we had a bit of a problem here. Let me just fix that. All right, we should be good now. And there you go. That's the basic idea of it. I feed the cards along, and it shoots it out. Now, as you can tell, it doesn't shoot it out very fast. From the sounds of it, it may sound like it's going super fast, and it is. You can look at those wheels there, and they're spinning at pretty decent RPM. But in all reality, when you look at the gear mechanism there, it's basically just one long gear going to a small gear. So I believe it's a 32 going down to, oh, what is it, 10 or something like that. So it's basically like a 1 to 4 ratio for like every one revolution of this. These are spinning 4 times as fast. So it's not super big. The problem I had with that and the gear ratio was I also needed these gears on the side. They didn't necessarily have to be so big, but it also helps the less I have to turn this, the more cords are fed through. But I also just didn't have that many large gears, or even better, these smaller gears. I actually didn't have a whole lot of them to really be able to freely work with. I found more within the past couple days of going through some older Lego stuff I'd procured that I'd forgotten about. But that was the one challenge, was first getting this to go as fast as I can while still being able to manually do this. Because the problem was is I couldn't have this gear also turning these, because I would have needed one in the middle, and I just didn't have any more small ones to get the same sort of ratio output. What I mean by that is sort of what I said. The more you turn a big one, the more a smaller gear turns. Otherwise, the more you turn a smaller gear, the longer it takes for a big gear to go around once. So I wasn't able to maximize as best I could. I couldn't get small one, a big one, to a small one, to a big one, to a small one to sort of double that output. So it's sort of the best that I could sort of do here. But I still think it came out really nicely. It doesn't look awful. It looks a little weird with the motor hanging out the side there, unlike the handle side that makes a little more sense. But I don't think it looks terrible. I think it looks sort of fun. It's a nice sort of nice looking thing to have and to play with when you're bored. It's very compact. The handles made out of the same battery pack, and sort of flip it up like you would like if you were actually pulling a trigger. And yeah, it's just a really fun build. I had a lot of fun making this, and so I hope you guys too. So I'll go ahead and run the LDD file here. I don't believe I ran into any issues with it, so you guys should be able to build it as follows. But feel free to pause it in between building things just to make sure it works well, or download the file in the description below and actually load it up in your own program to better get a view of it to help build it. with that, I hope you guys enjoyed building this. Hopefully yours came out the same as I did. The biggest thing is for these wheels, you want to have it the flat rubber treads on them. And here, one flat and one that is a lot more rounded and has these grooves. So you want the smallest amount of space in between them to where the tires themselves aren't necessarily touching. Here, they're just barely kissing each other, which is perfect for shooting the quad out as best as it can because it's getting the friction off of both of them, sending it out. So that's the thing you're mainly looking for there. There might be other ways to do it. I'm sure you can play around with this. The biggest thing is, yeah, you want to make sure that the space in between these two are small and that between here and these tires, the tops of them are pretty much parallel. That way the card can be coming out at the straightest of angle and it's not being bent one way or another as it's coming out to just shoot it towards the ground or straight up or, sort of just flopping out. So that's what I have here. Hopefully you guys liked it. If you guys have made your own, go ahead and send me a photo of that either through my Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. You guys can find it there or send me a link in the description below. I'd love to check it out. Maybe you guys have improved your own designs or have any suggestions for me. I'd love to hear them. And yeah, I hope you guys have fun with it. Of course, 52 card pickup's not exactly the best thing in the world, but it's a nice fun little gag to pull out at parties or at friends. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I, as always, have been Lego MacGyver. To all of you master builders out there, stay bricky, keep building, and I'll see you guys all next time.